Okay, now it's saying the stream is better. Okay, so stream is healthy now. All of a sudden, I don't know why, but again, the internet ghosts are haunting us today. Now the stream is healthy and it says excellent. I haven't done anything. It just happened. So thank you for your patience. Peter, hello. Nice to have you here. Hey, Chuck, don't you think maybe vocal coach reacting videos will be good? I would love to see reacting to... Oh, no, more problems. Yep. Now it's healthy again. Now it's healthy again. Okay, well, you guys, I am hoping that this thing evens out here. Oh my gosh. Now it's fluttering again. I don't know what's happening. All right, now it's excellent. Now it's fluttering. Now it's excellent. Okay, you guys, sorry. I feel so helpless here. I feel so helpless because the stream is poor. Hi, you guys. I'm just checking out the house to see if something was wrong. See if someone's running some equipment that it was interrupting the stream. Now it's saying the stream is healthy again. So we're just going to blast through this and hope that it takes care of itself. All right. So, let me address this question about that I had from the question was from Peter, and he asked, "What about reaction videos?" And I guess my question to you, Peter, is, what is it about reaction videos that would benefit you guys? He says, "Hey Chuck, don't you think maybe vocal coach reacting videos will be good? Question mark. I would love to see reacting to artists on stage." Yeah, so kind of fill me in here, you guys, on what is the benefit to you as a singer for reaction videos. So, hi Braden from India. Nice to have you here today. And yeah, if I turn off the feed, here's the problem. If I turn off the feed then and turn it back on again, it's a different link. So all of you here would be unable to reestablish the same connection. You'd have to go back and I think I have to reschedule a new video and then turn that on. And there's no guarantee that it's going to be any better. I don't think it's necessarily what's connected here. I think it's something in the Ethernet that's so because right now it's doing fine. It's a stable broadcast. All right, so India, it is 1:42 a.m. Wow, Braden, that is late at night. So if anyone would comment, or Peter, if you would like to comment on why do you feel like reaction videos would be helpful, I'd like to know that. There's some big copyright issues with these videos. And so while you're thinking about this, let me just address this. If I did one video, 3 or 4 months ago, last year sometime, and it was a commentary. It wasn't really a reaction video, but I was commenting on Amy Lee and Evanescence and her song "My Immortal," which I love, and she thanked Seth Riggs in her video jacket or video cover for the help on getting the first album ready to go. So I know he was involved in that. When I heard her sing "My Immortal" on the recording, I thought, this is amazing. This lady's going right through her bridge. I wonder if she's worked with Seth. And then come to find out she had been working with Seth Riggs. I showed her doing. I played her original recording, and then I got some copies. I got some recording video of her doing it live, and I stopped and analyzed. We listened to her do it several different ways. You could hear it on different recordings, different ways. Some pulled chest, and some mix, and then I found some other singers who covered it, and I made comment on that. It was really a great educational video in terms of understanding what mixed voice sounds like versus pulled up chest voice. And as soon as I uploaded it to YouTube, I was notified that I had a copyright dispute by the publisher of the music company. And that meant that they would not allow me to monetize my video, which just means that ads can play on it. And I don't make, you might make if you have a really great video, you might make a couple dollars a month off a video. Literally. If you have a fantastic video, you might make $4 or $5 a month. So you have to have a bunch of fantastic videos that you can monetize if you want to make anything off your YouTube channel for ads that other people are placing on your video. But more important to me is the fact that everything I did in that video was termed fair use. I mean, fair use, there are different elements of fair use, and among those are, it's a teaching video that you are doing commentary on it. You're changing its original condition into something else, so you're making something else of that intellectual property. So you're not just copying it for copy's sake. What you're doing is you're creating a different art. And so in this case, I was teaching a concept by using a song. And that was, I was teaching about mixed voice and versus chest voice. And I was doing that by listening to her sing this in different places throughout her career, and also other different singers singing it. And so it was very educational. And in every way that I can see, it was fair use, or it fell under the fair use doctrine. However, so I can appeal. I can appeal and say, no, this is not a copyright infringement. This is fair use and falls under the fair use doctrine. And so you submit that, and they're supposed to review it. So they came back a few weeks later and said, we disagree. This is infringement on the copyright. So then I sent another response saying, no, this is fair use. You need, please look at this, and you'll see that it's fair use. I'm teaching a concept. I'm changing I'm making commentary on it. I'm reacting to it, if you would. And anyway, it came back a third time and said, we will take down your video this Friday. If you want to continue this process if you want to appeal this, then you'll have to appeal it, while the video is taken off your YouTube channel. Or just, give in and say, okay, it's a copyright infringement and I can't monetize it. I really don't care that much about the monetization. Yes, it's helpful, but what I care about is being able to teach in an effective manner by using those tools that I just described to help people understand what's being done in a song. And so I gave up because I didn't want them to take my video down, and so that was just my one reaction video that I did. I know that the other teachers who are doing reaction videos have the same issue. If you don't follow Rick Beato, you ought to follow Rick Beato. He's a musician, guitar player, and he was a professor, teacher at a university, and he's awesome. And he has the same issues. He has several really good rants about this, and other voice teachers who are doing these once in a while. I know that they're experiencing the same thing, and it's going to get worse because the UK has basically thrown out the fair use doctrine. They don't have the fair use doctrine, and they've just passed some laws against any kind of, I mean, almost like if you have a meme, that's going to be violating a copyright of some sort. So it's going to be so stringent that it's predicted that that's going to flow over into the United States, and that pretty soon our Congress will be adopting the same laws, because the people who were pushing it in the UK were all United States-based music companies. So it's just a matter of time. I don't want, and I'll get up one morning, look at my emails, and I'll get a notification on a video that's been on my channel for years that some spider that's been crawling through the internet found that they claim is a copyright violation. I had a copyright notice on on my single largest video on this channel, and they said, well, you've stolen our music. That's our music, and it wasn't. I had purchased it from another company. It was a different name than they said it was, and so I had to actually go through this process of disputing it, and it wasn't even, it was a false claim. So those are things that when I think about going into a lot of reaction videos and going through all of this process, I very much don't want to have to endure it. I don't want somebody threatening to take my videos down. And even if you think you can kind of get it through, sooner or later, somebody sees it. And in Rick Beato's case, he didn't even play the music. He played the tune of one of the Beatles songs, I think. He played an opening bar of the Beatles, and I don't think he even said the words. He just played the tune, and they slammed him with a copyright dispute. So it's a real frustration, because this is his argument: how can you teach someone about music without listening to it? And I would love to be able to do some of these kinds of videos where I really teach what's going on in the voice. Now, that's my long story, and that's my long answer to reaction videos. I think they're great, but if you lose the dispute and you won't take the copyrighted video down, then you get a copyright strike from YouTube. And then if you get 3 of those, then your entire channel disappears off of the internet. So it's a major deal. It's a major thing. And I don't have one of those strikes because I always give in to the disputes. I looked at them, and I've had about 50 of these through the last 5 years. So it's about 10 a year. I've become much less creative in my video productions. I used to borrow liberally from other places on the internet, on YouTube, and through Google. But I got one day I got a notification from some French company someplace that a picture I had of one of the presidents of the United States was their property, and that I owed them $3,000 because I had this picture that their photographer took. So when you're this environment is it's becoming more and more restrictive. It seems very unreasonable in many cases. Okay, so let me take a couple comments here. I want to say that I'm trying to do a reaction. I'm beginning to do a monthly reaction video, but it's not in this space. It's not on YouTube. I'll tell you where it is in a minute. And it's available to anyone who would like to become a member of this organization that I have formed. It's called Singers Impact. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Let me take a couple comments here. I think the stream has settled down, thank goodness. And Stravos, hi, nice to have you here today. I tend to use my muscle under my chin when I sing. Any tips? It's a hard habit to stop. If you put your thumb under your chin and swallow, you can feel those muscles kind of kick against you can feel them push your thumb out. If we sing that way and those muscles grab and pull the larynx up is what happens, then the epiglottis is closing and you're being restricted. Your voice is it's hard to sing that way, right? And it's such a habit it's such a hard habit to break. And so the thing I recommend is that you do exercise like this. So put your thumb under there and do this little gallop. And then you go up the scale. So you try and do that enough where you no longer activate these muscles. And by doing that, you begin to separate your voice, the vocal cords, from your swallowing muscles. These are called digastric muscles, and I understand they're attached under here and attached to the top of the hyaloid cartilage, and which pulls the larynx up when they contract. That's how I've dealt with that in the past, with especially my younger students, my younger men, who have a real hard time because they're going through their vocal change. But occasionally I have an adult who has a really hard time. The larynx, that's always being activated and that's always being pulled up. Okay. Also, give us tips to get quality resonance. Where do you feel resonance when you sing? I feel resonance both I really feel it in my throat and in my mouth and up here in the nasopharynx area. I kind of might just feel it like right in this area here. When I sing really high notes, once in a while I'll feel it like in my ears. They'll tickle my ears. So the resonance, I feel it pretty much from, I don't feel, unless I put my hand on my chest, I can feel it in my chest. This is all sympathetic. It's vibration that's caused by the airwaves, and it's not necessarily resonating there, but you feel the vibrations kind of spreading around from another location. So it's maybe not happening there, but you can feel it there. Feel it in your throat, feel it in your mouth, feel it up here a little bit, and that's depending on the note. If I'm singing a high note, I don't feel anything in the chest, but I still feel it here and up here for sure. I feel it up above the roof of my mouth, but it's mainly the vibration. And so that's where I feel resonance. Tomorrow is my English exam of English. Good. Good luck, Braden, on your English exam. The time here right now is approximately almost half past the hour, depending on where you live in the States. In the Intermountain Zone, it's almost 30 minutes. It's about 28 minutes past 2 p.m. Now it is now daylight savings time. We went on daylight savings time last weekend. So that's changed. That messes us all up with the rest of the world if they don't go on daylight savings time. So in New York it would be 4:28 New York time, or Eastern Daylight Time. Anyway, okay, so thanks. The Real Troll said no problems from Indonesia. Great. Peter says, I would like to know the technical part of artists, for example. I discovered your channel because I wanted to learn how to sing. My favorite artist is Shawn Mendes. And if I, for example, would cover, I would like to sing like him. Yeah, so if you pause for 10 seconds, there should not be any copyright on live. If you pause for 10 seconds, there should not be any copyright on live. Huh. I haven't heard that, Peter. I've heard that if the system detects copyrighted music, even if it's playing in the background, it can be shut down. So I'm more afraid of it in a live broadcast than I am in a recorded broadcast. So Peter says, I actually have some videos of him singing on my channel that's not copyright. No, I have videos that are still playing. I can play them. It's just that the company will not allow any advertisements to be played with any revenue. If someone clicks on the advertisement, it will go to the copyright owner, and so you cannot monetize your channel, or monetize your video as a creator, even if it's fair use, even if the fair use doctrine is being applied legally. Unless I have a lot of money, I want to go to court every time these big companies argue this. They know that's not going to happen because we're just small little fish, So they've got a group of people that just monitor this as soon as they and they get paid commissions and so forth, from what I understand, to find their music being used on the internet for something. Peter says, so maybe you won't monetize the videos, but you'll get subscribers for other videos that are basically you teaching. Yeah, that's true. It just depends on what percentage of reaction videos. So this is what I'm going to do. So I in my byline today on the topic of my broadcast is it's entitled Singing Techniques, High Notes, and then there's a hyphen, Singer's Impact. So Singer's Impact is a membership site. It's been closed. I opened it about a year and a half ago. It's been closed for a year and a half, and it now has six courses in it, and that is 6 singing courses, and it has and I'm doing some live broadcasts on it. What I'm going to do with the reaction videos is I'm going to do some reaction videos where I do some teaching. I don't really like I see a lot of reaction videos I don't like out there on the internet because I think it's more entertainment, and that's fine. That's not my channel. It's not necessarily entertainment per se. It's how to. And so I'm teaching singing technique. I'm not really into, who knows, maybe that'll change in the future. But right now, my mission is to teach people the technique, and so I'm not really interested in the entertainment part. So my reaction videos would be more educational than entertaining, and I think there's some real value in it. I see value in that teaching aspect of the reaction videos. And so I'm not necessarily I wouldn't even call them reacting to it. I would just call them, hey, let me tell you what they just sang. Can you hear that that's pulled chest? Or did you hear how well that was a mixed voice? Here's why it's a mix, and here's what mix sounds like. Those kinds of things can be very, very helpful. And other technique things. And so I'm going to be doing that inside my Singer's Impact. And I'm not going to do live broadcast on those videos. I'm going to do a reaction video where I'll do a screencast of it. I'll record my discussion of it. I'll pause it. I'll make some comments. I'll start it up again. I'll edit out the mumble jumble that I do when I'm doing live. And then I'm going to take it off. I'm not going to publish it on YouTube. I'm going to download it. I'll edit it, as I mentioned, and then I'll upload it into Vimeo, which is another video platform, and I'm going to make it private so nobody can download it and no one can view it except those who know about it. So that's how I'm going to do the reaction videos. It's going to be available for members of my membership site, which is called Singer's Impact. And so that's the way I'm going to teach singers about the singers. So all I'm saying is, in a few weeks, within probably it might be next week, I'll be opening up the store, so to speak, for people to join Singer's Impact. It is a subscription-based membership site, but it's got a huge value to it because there's that many courses. There's about 12 hours of courses, 731 minutes of courses, 12 hours of coursework, and it covers everything, all the courses that I put together, including courses on vibrato, and it's available for a yet-to-be-determined monthly fee, paid annually, or you can do a month-to-month, which is going to be more expensive than the monthly paid annually. So anyway, I see that as a real opportunity to do these reaction videos and really do some education and keep it off of YouTube. I'm still going to I'm not going to abuse the fair use doctrine. It'll all fall under fair use, but I won't have to deal with, I'm not monetizing it. So, it's not, I'm not people aren't advertising on it. There are no advertisers on this inside Vimeo. And that will be housed in a membership site inside Singer's Impact. It's the name of it. All right, let me take a couple other questions here. Peter says that maybe you won't be monetizing the video, but you'll be getting subscribers for other. Okay, yeah, it's possible. But inside Singer's Impact I really want to teach people. I'm not really that even concerned about the number of subscribers. I just want to affect and impact singers. Janet 2A, hi Janet. Nice to have you here. What kind of video that kind of video I would really like, describing good technique. And if you compare it with different performances and other singers. Yeah, Janet, so I do see that there's some value there. I think that's why I'm going to do it in Singer's Impact. If you pause 10 to 15 seconds to explain an artist on a video, there should be no problem. YouTube takes your videos off. If you pause between 10 to 15 seconds to explain an artist on a video, There should be no problem that YouTube takes your videos off the platform. Um, so what will happen, Peter, is just if you have 10 to 15 seconds, let's say, of music from the Beatles, let's say, I'll get a copyright notice from them saying you can't monetize that video because we own that music. They won't take it off as long as you agree with them. Even if it's fair use, it doesn't matter to them. They won't let you do it. Imagine if they copyrighted guitar chords. Yeah. And actually, there's what's going on right now, Peter. It's interesting you'd mention that. Again, I'll refer you to Rick Beato. He's a guitar teacher online. I think it was a 1 chord, the 4, and the 6. So it's like 4 chords, and there's some guy suing Lady Gaga because he's saying that she stole his tune. It's like one measure, and but it's just 1, 4, 5, 6, which is what most pop songs are now. And he's suing Lady Gaga because he's saying she stole his melody. So literally, Peter, you're exactly right. He is trying to claim that basically that chord progression is his. So we'll see how that turns out. It's apparently happening more often. People are claiming that a chord progression is their copyrighted progression when you can find it in dozens of different songs. Hi, the real troll from Indonesia, 3:20 a.m. Whoa. We have 27 COVID-19 cases until now, and it's spreading. Oh, sorry to hear it. I hope they get their arms around that pretty quick, the real troll. Lascat. Do you know Tame Impala, Kevin Parker, and can you tell us what he uses to sing his high notes? I don't. I'm sorry, Lascat. I would have to check on that and try and get back to you guys. And like I say, I wouldn't turn it on now and do it because I don't want to risk having this thing turned off. Artists sometimes get copyright addicted. Yeah, sigh. Well, I appreciate they have to make money, but I think in the long run, if they let people listen to it, they'd sell more records. In a situation like this, if maybe people weren't familiar, let's say, with Amy Lee, as I described, maybe they would say, wow, I want to go listen to her. But now they won't because I won't do it. I won't do that again. Can you sing, and can you sing as high as him? I don't know. I don't know how high he goes. I mean, if I said, yeah, so anyway. That was the high G, the G5. I'm a bass, so that's pretty good. That was head voice. It wasn't falsetto, by the way. Okay, so Janet says, so sad to hear that. I was praying for a happy ending. For you to describe what is going on in a voice, as you described, would be golden info. Yeah, so I invite you, Janet, to keep your eyes peeled for, and you're in the UK. Awesome, Janet. I have some members of Singers Impact that live in the UK. And so I'm going to make it available for my membership site, but it just can't be public. At least I don't want to have to deal with that. And it's kind of a little fun feature for the members. I want to be a good singer. We all do, Wahid. Nice to have you here today, by the way. Dust Composer, does vocal modes exist? How it work with vocal lesson? A vocal mode, I don't think there's a vocal mode per se. I'm just saying that There are modes, different modes in the different on the in the keyboard, let's say. But and people can sing those modes, so they can definitely sing in the different modes. But I don't know that you would term it a vocal mode. You would term it a melodic mode or a key mode, or what mode is that key or whatever. But I don't know that you would call it a vocal mode. Stravos says, is it true that the more we open the mouth, the more we complicate out singing? So Stravos, it's about where the resonance is, and if by opening the mouth, the resonance, like let's say you have a mix of resonance going. If I said, that's the F sharp. So now I've got a vibration going here, down in my mouth, and it's up above the roof of my mouth. So now I've got this vibration. It's two vibrations, down in here and up in here. So we'd call that a mix, because it's a blend of chest and head vibration. But if I open my mouth too far, or the resonance shifts out of the upper part, then you can hear how I lose the mix and it drops down into the mouth. And all I did was open my mouth. Okay? So that's definitely true, that you can complicate singing by opening too wide, mainly because it changes where the resonance is going, and it's difficult to control when that space gets real big and it falls down into the mouth. So that being said, I think that the better you get at it, you can there's some things you somehow are kind of learn how to control it, but it's harder. I don't know if I could open my mouth really wide and be able to maintain a mix of that. So yes, in my opinion, that is true. We do make it harder. May say that the we should feel the sound goes through the soft palate into head. Is it true? Many say that we should feel the sound go through the soft palate. So Stravos, here's if I said, I could tell you what I can feel it not going, not allowing it to shift or go above the or back around the soft palate and up into head. I can prevent that from happening by so I'm not letting the vibration shift. So there is a feel that you start to identify when you start to feel that vibration moving up above the hard palate. If I said, you can hear one of them is going up into my head, and one of them is just dropping down into my mouth. So, in a way, you can feel it. I don't know that you physically would be able to say, oh, now I can feel it's hitting my soft palate. But you can feel the results of that and the vibrations traveling either sympathetically through, or I don't know if they can actually resonate above the soft palate. I think if you did an in on an in, and you pinch your nose, the vibrations, the resonances in your up here, because you're not allowing it to come out of the mouth. You're closing it off with the in. And from my understanding, for it to be strictly resonance, you have to have the presence of air. And so you might be able to be aware of where it is, but I don't know if you can literally feel it. Probably somebody can. Some people probably can. I think it's very individual. It's definitely a first person experience that each of you would be able to say, but I don't know that there's a way to measure that. I don't think there is. Daniel, hey Daniel, nice to have you here. Quick question. He says, when you get a chance, is there an upper limit to how one can develop their voice? I want to sing like Klaus Nomi, and I do the exercises, but the fear is a bridge too far. The answer is yes. Yeah, you reach a point where you can't vocalize a sound anymore. For many of us, though, it's much higher than we think. Where that is in your voice, I do not know. But genetically, I think it's just like a basketball player. You know, he can only grow to a certain height, and then he's not going to get any taller. And he might be able to jump higher, and there are many things he could do with that. But let's just say that, like this last week, they had the NFL Columbine or Combine. Is that what it is? Where they test these college athletes that are vying for the NFL, the National Football League draft, and so they make them run the 40-yard dash and they time them. And these guys are the peak conditioned athletes, and they simply can only run so fast given their body type. Now, if they exclusively trained and that's all they did is train how to run faster, they could probably increase their speed. They'd have to lose weight. They'd have to, train for years. They would have to, they'd have to do a lot to get another half a minute or something, or another 10 seconds or so. But eventually they're going to peak out. They're going to top out. And so the same thing is true with anything having to do with the body. Eventually you're going to reach your limit. And what that is, though, I do not know. But the answer is, yep, you're gonna finally get to the top. Hi, Anna. Nice to have you here today from down under. Hey, have you heard of Per Bristow? Yeah. I don't really know too much about him. I think he does big, large group audience things and does kind of a lot of psychotherapy kind of singing type experiences. And then I think he's got a whole course and exercises and so forth. I've had one student I know that bought his course and she still had a break in her voice. So I don't know what he teaches, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's anything. Sometimes that happens, but don't have a lot of information on him. I know he's got a real big audience on Facebook. And the real troll, I have tried any ways to find my head voice, like practicing nay, nay, etc., but I didn't find any way to head voice. All I can do is only chest voice. No head voice, no falsetto. It's so frustrated. So real troll, what's happening here is your larynx is coming up. It's very hard to stop. So I would just recommend doing an exercise called goo. Goo, 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 goo. That's going from chest to head voice. And you'll very quickly, very easily feel the larynx grab that if the larynx is coming up. Goo, 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 goo. That would be the larynx rising. And so if you did the goo, 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 and that's not falsetto, that's my head voice. You can get into your head. But there are some cases, you guys, that sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and take a voice lesson sometime. Um, Many of you can learn on your own and discover things on your own. I did. I remember when I was on my own for a couple, 2.5 years or so, I just listened to cassette tapes in my car. And I remember where I was in my car when I learned that I could get into my head voice with a little bit of a cry. And that was the first time I was able to do that, and I was just shocked. It was so exciting, you know. And I could always get into it with a bubble. So we definitely learn on our own. But if you hit a brick wall over and over again, sometimes a 30-minute lesson can change the whole world for you. It's worth it. Worth it to me. When I was, and it still is, I still take voice lessons. The same chord progression is used in about 8 million songs. So that's going to be a messy precedent to set. Daniel, so true. Brandon Gibson says, tips for working on a mix belt. Well, Brandon, I think that first of all, you want to get your mix down really well in all conditions, in every way possible. Have a really fine mix, and kind of a middle of the road standard regular mix, and then once you achieve that, then you can, I think, address the mixed belt. Because here's the problem. A mixed belt is just about one fraction away from pulled chest. So unless you're really secure in your mix voice and really able to identify that feeling of mix and sing with the mix, then I think you're at a big risk. Especially if you're like into pop or more of a harder rock or rock or harder rock music. It's very easy to start pulling chest and call it a belt mix. So I would say first step is make sure your mix is just, you're able to do that in your sleep, and then you can start working on a more like pulling that mix voice higher, which ends up being more of a belt mix. Dust Composer, I've heard vocal modes term in the complete vocal technique, CVT. Yeah, I don't know what it would be referring to. Stravos says, asks one last question. Any tips on how to maintain a constant airflow through the chords during the exhale singing? Push the air forward and not hold back. Yeah, Stravos, so I'll tell you the way I imagine it. When I was first dealing with that myself, and also with some of my students that need some kind of visual. And this is just my idea. I haven't heard this from anybody else, but I pretend like I'm on a freeway or on a road, and in front of me is a large truck, a big, like a semi-truck. And I have to send the air from my voice to the back of that truck so that the air is just kind of pushing that truck along, And so if I'm singing, so if I said, now if I don't keep my air leaning against the back of that truck and pushing it down, it's not going to push it down the highway. And it has to stay. I have to have that air constantly flowing against that truck. Now, if I will imagine that, or help my students imagine that, it's surprising how they're able to kind of like think about pushing that, keep pushing it, because if they pull the air back, the truck stops or the voice stops. So it's got to have that constant forward pushing out and kind of leaning against the truck. Probably it's leaning against the voice, the vocal cords itself, that's enabling that to happen. That's just a little trick that I've found helpful. And you might be able to come up with something different than that. If you're in a room, pretend like there's a hole in the wall and you're going to send that sound through the wall and into the next room or across the street. It's a visual thing. That's I'm guessing that you're able to use your low breath to let the diaphragm drop and draws the air in, and then you pull your diaphragm in gently. That helps. Noel Fleming, does the order of the exercises in your daily routine have an impact on your vocal performance? And if so, what order would you suggest doing them? So, Noel, I've not been aware of any real impact in the differences of the exercises, except that I think it's nice to have a little bit of a variety of exercises, and I don't feel like I have to kill myself on range and so forth. I will always make sure I exercise to the range that I have to sing. So if I have a G, I will always exercise several notes past that. But in terms of, I would say, generally speaking, I would start out with exercises that are less demanding on the voice as kind of secondarily as a warm-up. And so I will always do bubble lips first, because they not only help keep the larynx down, they not only help the vocal cords make their appropriate adjustment from low to high pitches, and also allow the resonance to move up and down, but they're a great warm-up as well, and it gets the voice feeling pretty good. So I'll usually always start with a bubble lip, with a more closed kind of exercise. And so I guess in that situation, I would say that yes, I would start with more narrow or closed exercises, closed vowel exercises, rather than start the first exercise. I would do, because I want my voice to be warm before I do the more open and more aggressive exercises, if I'm going to. I don't feel a need to do those, but if I'm doing a part that has that kind of a sound or something, I would probably want to do it. So I would start from the more closed and then go more gradually to the more open exercises, and then you probably would like to end with exercises that are more closed, to bring the larynx back down and have everything settled when you're done with your warm-up, your exercises. So I guess I'm saying that, yeah, I would order them that way, and I just do it not thinking. But that's what I recommend. Thanks for the answer. I'll keep at it, is Daniel saying. Anna Mancini says, also, your exercises for pull chest, high larynx, how often should I be doing them? I've been doing them for a year now, almost daily. Cool. Anna, I think doing them once a day is a great practice. I don't do that when I'm not in a show, I confess, and I should, and I want to. Of course, I'm teaching a lot, and so I'm vocalizing that way, but I think I would be better off if I did them once a day. They're not long, as you know, somewhere around 15 minutes or something like that. And you could probably do them 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night, depending on if you've got a gig, you're going to do an impersonation that evening. I have found that if I do a mid-afternoon exercise, and then maybe run a 30-minute lesson, for example, that I've recorded, and then I do a warm-up before I go out. Okay, so we've been going a little while here. I haven't said too much more about Singer's Impact. I did want to just let you know that I'm opening opening it up for new people who might want to look at this. There are, like as I mentioned, 6 courses inside, and here's what I'm doing. I'm doing live things weekly with the Singer's Impact members, and it's true they maybe can't attend because of the hour of the day, and it's hard to meet everyone's time. Like for Anna, she's down under, and so for her it's let me see, 3 o'clock. It's really early for you, isn't it, Anna? And it's tomorrow. So, And then I've got the UK that right now it's about 6 to 7 hours. It's probably around 9 o'clock or so, or 10 there. New York 2 hours. Pacific Coast, it's an hour behind me. It's so hard to get everybody on the same. So you can go back and watch these videos. I put them in there. Once the new one comes out the next month, the old one goes into an archive, but they're all there. You can watch at your leisure. But I'm doing the reaction video, so-called reaction video. But 1 week I'm doing a student focus. So students can send me a video or an audio of their singing and the segment they want me to comment on and what they're working on, and then I'll give them some personal coaching. But I'm doing it on a live broadcast so that other members of Singers Impact can hear it and learn from that. The next week I'm doing a live broadcast where I actually bring members of Singers Impact online in front of everybody and I work their voice. So I do like a little mini lesson right there. And I've done that several times, and it's available once a month for the members of Singers Impact. And it's a great way to help people that want me to hear their voice, give them some coaching, get them on the right track. And so that's the second touch, personal touch during the month. And the fourth personal touch is I do a Q&A at the end of the month called the Green Room, and people can submit questions and I'll answer them like we're doing today, or I will take pre-submitted questions and answer them. So that's what I'm doing inside Singers Impact in addition to the courses, and I'll be adding some more courses. Be adding some courses on application, adding some courses on building strength and power in the voice and so forth. So those are all the things that are going to be happening inside Singers Impact, and I'll be opening that up here in the next week or so. And I'd love to have you join me. I think it's going to be so much better, and you're going to really be able to learn on your own. And it's a lot less than live lesson would be in terms of your hourly, and it's a real value. I think it would be good. I recommend it. So watch for that. Okay, we have a comment here from Aga Hayo Salamati. AgaHayoSalamati.com. I was seeing Roger Burnley videos. Yeah, and they were good, but didn't work for me that much. What he said and wasn't true for me. You can't do tongue drill if you can't. Let me see. What he said, and it weren't true for me, was this: you can't do tongue trill if you can't roll your tongue. Oh, really? Huh. I've never heard that. So I don't know what. He says I can't do tongue roll, and I can do tongue trill, but still my voice go like Tarzan. Ah. That's the larynx coming up. So yeah. So what I would do to stop that, Agio, is I would blow some air through your lips, then do the tongue trill. Close your lips over it. Do it on the 5-tone knob. Almost make just close your lips and make the air blow them apart. You got to pull your tummy in on those. They're not easy, but the larynx stays down on those, and very often you can keep your voice from cracking there. If you can't do that, then I would practice it with the goo. Goo, 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 and so forth. But keep that little dopey sound going. If you don't know about mode stuff, I'm not interested to find out more about it. Ha ha ha. Thanks for the response, Chuck. There are different modes. There's and I'm not great at these, but oh heck, I used to know them all when I was taking piano lessons. But it's things like uh, there's a whole step mode. So that's a mode. I'm not sure what the name of it is. One of you good musicians will know. There's some other modes that are really quite amazing and beautiful. And again, I'll just refer you to Rick Beato. He really knows these modes, and he did a whole thing on it the other day. And you could he played different songs from different pop artists where they were using that mode, and but you can play it with a guitar, you can play it with a piano, you can play it with any instrument. So that's why I don't know that it would ever be called a vocal mode. It's a mode, and if you sing it with your voice, then I suppose it's a mode that you sing, rather than a mode that you play the guitar, the guitar with. Okay, so, but maybe they're talking about something else, some other kind of definition of mode. Ian. Hi, Chuck. Nice to have you here, Ian. Hi, Chuck. Do you have any advice on how to strengthen and maintain the mix in the middle register with an open vowel? Yeah. So the exercise for that would be this. I need those vowels to sound. You need them to sound bright. So I wouldn't chase the sound. What you want to do is find the coordination first, and then let the sound develop as it goes along. If we're always chasing to try and create a certain sound, we can get ourselves in trouble that way. I would work on doing it correctly physically, and then allow the strength to develop over time. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Now the no is in your mix. If I said no, 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 if I open it up too far, it would go in the chest. But I'm not. I'm leaving it in that narrower, smaller place, the new established. No, 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 no. But if I said no, no, that would be falling into my chest. And so I practice it that way. Now you could add one other vowel if you want to and say no, 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 no. And you practice leaving the no and the na, the same small place, the new established. And that's going to help you develop that area of your mix where you're able to stay in that middle register on any vowel. No, 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 na, 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 na. That was a mixed na. And so that's how you practice that. What is open throat singing to prevent? What is open throat singing to prevent tension, and how do you do it? I don't know. The only open throat singing I've heard of before is kind of the Australian outback or kind of chanting some kinds of maybe some Indian classical music, but I'm not sure what your definition of open throat would be. Nato Pinto, I'm 16. How long should I keep doing my pulled chest exercises before practicing my mix? As soon as you're able to do it, Nato, and because the pulled chest exercises will get you into your mix. So if you can do it without pulling chest, and you can do them without cracking or breaking, you're ready to go. If you're still pulling, if it still cracks and breaks, and you still feel that strain, you got to work to keep that larynx down. But if you're able to get it, then you can start doing them. If you feel like there's not straining anymore and you're able to get into your head voice without cracking or breaking or straining, that's when. 8 a.m. Wednesday. Yeah, Anna, it's not quite as early as I thought it would be. Because I was, well, I don't, and I guess there's different time zones in Australia, huh? There's a difference between some of the larger cities and like the Gold Coast and the other places. But I used to teach at about 5:30, and it was like 8:30 in the morning in the student that I was teaching down under, but I can't remember exactly where he was. Maybe around Melbourne. That was last year. I don't remember whether it was daylight savings time or standard time. Okay, Bo Emerson, great channel. I've gained better control of my mixed voice. Awesome. I was the one who pulled chest up to C5, C sharp 5, but learning how to mix has done wonders. Is there an average time frame for adding notes in mix? Um, no, I don't think so, Bo. It's so dependent on your vocal type, whether or your vocal classification. If you're a high tenor, then you probably add them pretty quick. If you're lower bass, it might take a little bit longer, or they won't ever go quite as high, and so forth. So um, the time frame is kind of individual, depending on the student. But congratulations, that's awesome. I would love to watch more of your singing video. Yeah, I've got. If you go to the playlist, I've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 songs that I've recorded in years past, and most of those also have copyright claims on them. Anyway, there's a playlist that says me singing, and you can scroll through there and get an idea. And they're not auto-tuned. There's like usually 1 or 2 takes at the most. I don't spend a lot of time on them. They are what they are. Daniel Gould says, second, it'd be cool to get more videos of you singing stuff if you've done on stage or something. Yeah, guys, it's really interesting. When I'm on stage, you're restricted. Once we're in a dress, once we start dressing and the show starts running, their contract says people cannot record or even take pictures. It's so crazy, and I've got some, but I would get in trouble with the theater if I posted them somewhere. Whoop! I hope they didn't hear that. Okay, thank you very much. See, I mean, they'll be theaters can get penalized for stuff like that. It's crazy. Yeah, I guess they got to make money somehow, and they're afraid that if I post it on YouTube, it's going to destroy their company. Thanks a lot for the advice. Real Troll says, I'll try Goo Goo Lips and practice, and Lips Trill, practice to find my head voice. Gotta go. Thank you, guys. Yeah, we got to pull the end this. It's been fun. Look, Singers Impact, I'm going to probably do some Facebook Lives here in the next week or so, and I'll be talking more about it. If you got any questions about Singers Impact, please let me know. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be kind of fun, and it's definitely going to provide some great tools for you. There's a couple courses in there. Sing Higher Than Ever Before is in there. Make your high notes, master your high notes, make your high notes impressive, conquer vibrato. Those are all inside there. The bridging kit. So there's a lot that you'll be able to utilize inside Singers Impact. Braden says, where am I from? I live in Utah in the United States, and I actually grew up as a young man in the middle part of the United States in a place called Missouri, in a small town called St. Joseph, the home of the Pony Express, if you know anything about the Pony Express. Angela, hi. I always learn something new when I watch PTS Live. Chuck, thanks. Hey, Angela, thank you. It's so nice to have you here today. Shforn. How can I sing with a breathy tone? How can I sing with a breathy tone? How do you do it? When Billie Eilish sings, she sounds really light, but when she talks, she's a bit deeper. Does this mean she's singing in head voice? Not necessarily. I would have to listen to more of her voice. But there are 2 ways that I can think of to sing quieter or sing with a little more breath. with more air escaping. And that's what's happening. The vocal cords are relaxing, and so you've got more air escaping. So if I said, ah, so I could do it one way, and that is do it softer. Ah, or I could do it, ah, and that is I relax my vocal cords so they're not holding back as much air. So let me explain it this way. Sh foreign. If you close your eyes, but just enough to see me or see the screen, but it looks like your eyes are closed, but you've got just a little bit of daylight showing, so that they're not really closed all the way. That's what you do with your vocal cords. You relax enough that they open slightly. And now, instead of light getting in, more air passes through. So you just can't close them so tight, so to speak, that very little air escapes. And that's that's the second way you do it, is you relax the vocal cords so there's not so much, they're not holding back as much air. There's more air escaping. Ian says, thanks, I'll try and use that exercise on lower notes. Mixed voice audio may be off my problem area. It's easy, and it is easy for me to do those notes. Appreciate it. All right, thanks everybody. We went a long time today. If you want to get on the Singer's Impact wait list, look in the description below the video. You can join the wait list, and you'll be there and be getting all the information, because I'll be using that wait list also. There's like 63 or 64 people have been there waiting for this thing to open up. Thanks, and have a great week. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. This is Power to Sing Live number 173. Remember, you can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. See you next time. Now I just have to shut this off, right? Take care.